Hello and welcome. This is Market View. Thank you for tuning in. It's the 18th of February. My name is Lungelele Makakula. The Handicrafts Training Center was started with the cooperation between the Republic of China and Taiwan and the Kingdom of Eswatini to create an enabling environment for the development and expansion of handicraft enterprises and producers. Its objectives are to impart skills on handicraft, train for self-employment, improve income generation, and promote self-reliance. With industry needs continuing to evolve and the business community stating that educational institutions do not produce industry needs, business journalist Nelson Ndlangamandla today sits down with the principal Makosonke Gama to find out how the institution is adapting to the times, especially now that government is promoting entrepreneurship for employment opportunities. Stay tuned for that interview. And in our news today, 25 small and medium enterprise holders in the leather industry have been trained on tanning skin hides in an effort to help them add value and increase their sales. Let's go straight to our first story. 25 small and medium enterprise holders in the leather industry have been trained on tanning skin hides in an effort to help them add value and increase their sales. The focal person livestock at the International Trade Center, Eswatini Konze, says there is still a market for local businesses in this sector as it has not been fully explored. The training has been conducted in collaboration with the European Union and was conducted at the National Handicrafts Training Center at Eswatini.
Here we are actually training MSME artisans and on the leather value addition. Why are we doing this? Most of our MSMEs that are in the leather sector, we find that most of the time they go outside the country, neighboring countries, especially in South Africa, to source raw material. Yet in Eswatini we have high quality leather that is not processed. The farmers, abattoirs will just send the consignment to South Africa or sell to other business people that would actually take it to South Africa to process and then send it to overseas. But what we are bringing here is the skills now, where our MSMEs are acquiring skills that they are able to produce a high quality through a vegetable which is plant-based tanning, environmental friendly as compared to using chemicals that might affect the environment.
Robert Shabangu, chairperson of the Eswatini Leather Craft Multipurpose Association, says the training was needed as most of small and medium enterprises in this sector lack the skills. He continues to say the industry has 46 business owners who are struggling to get animal skin hides and tan them. He continues to say they are now going to grow their industry through the training.
Nje lokwende ukuthi sitakale kakhulu singema leather crafters kule training yalamuhla ukuthi siba nebulukhuni bekuthola imaterial lapho sikukhanza ukuthi ikhumba tethu sitlanza even labo makhelwane la South Africa sesiyakholelwa ukuthi nyalo naloke mhlambe bulukhuni lesitawuba nabo kwanyalo kutawuba ngema chemicals ngoba la kanje lasetshenzisiwe nyalo atholakale khashane kakhulu eZimbabwe. Lokusho ukuthi sitawucela nalokuthi ungathi bekungaba netinsita lokuthi lama chemicals ukuze sitokhona ukuthi sithi shukela sisodwa emakhaya after the training sikwade ukuthi sikwende lokho.
The Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade is on a drive to grow the industry, hence engaging different stakeholders to train small and medium enterprises under this sector. For Market View, Nelson Ndlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
Following concerns from different organizations, including the United Nations, that most small and medium enterprises are informal and fail to contribute meaningfully to the country's economy, we asked the Director of Small and Medium Enterprises at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mluleki Dlamini, on what is being done to ensure that these businesses are formalized so that they can be able to further benefit from government funding.
From the recent study of the FinScope, it shows that about 68,000 businesses are MSMEs in the country, and we understand that there is high informality. in these businesses, and it then tends to affect them in terms of getting financial support from financial institutions. And in that respect, we'll want to then appeal to businesses to come forward so that we assist them in terms of registration and also provide the necessary support so that they can benefit from those schemes, because all of these schemes require them that they have transactional histories so that we're able to see the viability of their businesses when they have to get that form of assistance. So basically, all of these are initiatives the ministry is currently engaged in to assist businesses in terms of formalization, and also to ensure that they also comply with the tax obligations in the country. So basically, that assists them also for their growth as well, so that they graduate from the informal sector to the formal sector and start being companies that will contribute meaningfully to the economic growth of the country. So it is one of those initiatives that as a ministry, and implementing the MSME National Policy of 2024 or up to 2029, we will be focusing on those initiatives to work with the informal sector in all respect to make sure that they are also players in terms of contribution to the economy of the country.
And that's it for our business news. Thank you for staying with us. After the break, Nelsie sits down with the principal of the National Handicraft and Training Center.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back. The National Handicrafts and Training Center is a department under the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade tasked with skills development to help increase entrepreneurship in the country. With industry needs continuing to evolve and the business community stating that educational institutions do not produce industry needs, business journalist Nelsie Ndlangamandla had a sit-down interview with the principal Makosonke Gama to find out how the institution is adapting to the times, especially now that government is promoting entrepreneurship for employment opportunities.
I mean, God had to go at me a number of times before I finally swallowed this. Because we just have such a wrong mindset about what God expects out of us. And you know what religion is? Religion is what we think God expects out of us instead of us looking at what He's done for us. We have worth and value not because of what we do, but because Jesus died for us. Because we're no better than anybody else. Anything that we are that in Christ, or we're nothing at all. And I enjoy ministry so much more now. I'm so comfortable, and I love God, and I like myself, and you know, I don't care what you think about that, but I just like myself. You know, I spent enough years hating myself. I'm done with all that. Amen.
Mr. Gama, I know that you are under the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade as the National Handicraft and Training Center, but I want you to first start by talking to us about the work that you do here.
Thank you so much. The National Handicraft Training Center is an institution under the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade. It was established in 1973, the collaboration of the Kingdom of Eswatini and the Republic of China on Taiwan. So the main aim of this institution is to empower young Swazis or adults with vocational and handicraft skills for self-employment as well as job creation to improve or to uplift the economy of Eswatini. So we have got a range of vocational skills like sewing, we've got fine arts and ceramics, we've got carpentry, metalwork, computer, electrical and plumbing. So these skills were made to equip individuals with the required skills for the industry.
You are saying that most of the work that you do here involves parting skills to a Maswati to ensure that they start their own businesses. How do you ensure that the skills that you are giving to a Maswati are those that are needed by the market or by the different industries?
Thank you so much. We are working with a lot of industries. We are collaborating with our primary stakeholder is DIVT, the Directorate of Industrial and Vocational Training. So what they do, they give out the standard requirement for the trades that we are providing. So then we align our curriculum basically towards those requirements of the standards.
I'm interested in knowing the enrollment rate. Are Emaswati showing interest in the TVET skills that you are providing here, Mr. Gama?
We are experiencing an increase in the number of applicants, honestly, because from the previous years we had around 200 to 250 applicants, but last year and this year we are experiencing an increase. It's about 380 applicants. So we have variances. We have variances like 2022 we had 218, 2023 240, 2024 225. So this year we have 244, which shows that there are so many students that we are unable to admit due to the facility that we have. So we have these departments of which they have a limited capacity. So most of our students, we tend to have a few numbers in classes. So the increment then made us to go to the Tinkhundla centers to open outreach classes. So we are in a process right now. Last year we had almost 9 to 10 classes in the outreach program.
Most small and medium enterprises are not successful. They don't become resilient in the industry. What is the success rate of your graduates, those businesses they have started? Do they become successful?
Our students have, most of our students succeeded. They also come back to share with us on what they are doing out there. So we have seen a couple of our students gaining employment. Some of them they've opened their own businesses. So I can attest to that most of our students have been successful.
I know, Mr. Gama, you've said the businesses become successful. I don't know how you measure that, but there is also a concern that the small and medium enterprises out there are informal, which makes it hard for them to benefit from different funds from government. What do you do as an institution to ensure that they understand the importance of being a formal business?
We have made efforts in the previous year that we had our business presentation forum where we called upon all business stakeholders to come and do presentations to our students so that when they finish, they complete their course, they'll be able to know where to get the financial assistance and also where to get resources for them to start their own businesses. We are also in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade. We have so many departments that have assisted us in order to help our students grow.
You've been here for a year or two. What plans do you have to take this institution to the next level, if I may say?
Honestly, our mandate is to empower them with the vocational and handicraft skills for self-employment because we are looking at the employment rate. Most of our youth, they are unemployed. So we are facilitating them to focus mainly on self-employment because there are so many schools out there are so many institutions, companies that need the qualified candidates for these particular skills. So with the opportunity to seek for employment, we are not necessarily focusing mainly on that. We are opening opportunities for employment, but our main mandate is to ensure that our students are able to sustain themselves with the skills that we give them. Like, for instance, opening their own businesses so that they will be able to gain financial independence.
There's something you said about enrolling about 130 to 134 students per year. What happens then to those students who were not able to be enrolled, especially because you said you always receive a lot of applications than those that you enroll?
What we normally do to those students who were unable to succeed with their application, we do visit their communities. We check the database and then we visit those communities to open the outreach program there. So we decentralize our program to the different team holders in the country. So it's not that when their application were not successful, then we just leave them there. We also go to the communities. Like if most of the students want sewing, we take one sewing instructor to those communities and open the classes there. So we have had classes like in the previous year in the Shiselelo region. We had Metula, Manzini, we had Bopunga and Mliba, as well as Botutusini.
Having you on the program was a pleasure, Mr. Gama. I promise you we will come back to make a follow-up on everything that you have promised Eswatini today.
Martin, that is the principal of the Handicraft Training Center, having a sit-down interview with our business journalist, Nelswe in Langamandla. After the break, we talk to Sanellis Bia for today's financial markets.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in only thought in your dreams. Discover just how far you go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Market View. Thank you for staying with us. We now get into our last segment of our program. We talk to Sanele SBF, in-house economist for today's financial markets. Good afternoon, Sanele. Thank you for joining us today. Take us through today's international markets firstly.
Thank you, Lungelele. As you know that yesterday was actually a holiday in the US, so we do not have any updated figures different from the ones we had on Friday. So we're going to head on straight to Europe. So in Europe, what we keep seeing there is just some mixed signals with the UK market. Not just edging on the green there with 8,718 overall trade volumes. But when you move into into Europe, the greater Eurozone, if you move into France and Germany, we can see that the markets there are taking a bit of some losses. That's purely because we know that in Germany we're going into the elections, and there is the whole issue of the Russia-Ukraine war resolution and the fact that Europe has not been invited to the table. And there's also the issue to look into the overall ability of Europe to fund that, that gap that the US might leave there. So that's why we're seeing those US markets, those European markets acting up that way. And we know that Germany, ahead of the elections, one of the major sticking points there is actually how to get that economy humping. And the fact that Germany has not actually come out to say and have a stance on this Russia-Ukraine issue. That's why we're seeing that subdued activity there within Frankfurt and Paris, right? And then moving across into Asia, we're seeing in Hong Kong that the Hang Seng, edging closer to those all-time highs we saw pre-COVID or pre-pandemic, just edging closer to the 23,000 mark, and then that would be the first time in like 6 years since we're going to see the Hang Seng on those 23,000 mark. It's purely because we've seen some gains within the tech sector there, pulling up the overall index. And then in terms of Japan again, the Japanese yen Nikkei is still being fueled by those beautiful news of a 2.8 growth that we saw just a few days ago. And then within the mainland, we're seeing a bit of subdued activity today because of the Russia-Ukraine summit and, those moving parts within the global geopolitical landscape. And because what it means is if we're able to resolve that war, that means China will not have access to relatively cheaper Russian fuel anymore, Russian oil. And then moving into South Africa, we are just fast approaching the budget, which is going to be tabled tomorrow, and markets seemingly are reacting to that. And the fact that we did not see President Trump making any statement yesterday because it was President's Day, right? So the markets are a bit stable today because there isn't much moving parts coming through from the Trump presidency, and markets seem to have taken a bit of a relaxed mode against what Trump could be doing. The JSE there, edging closer to that 89,000 mark in terms of all share volume. Then moving into our commodities, gold still remains very strong, and the conflict over the conflict resolution of the Russia-Ukraine conflict is somehow causing a bit of uncertainty in the market, pushing the price of gold closer to $992 per ounce. That we should expect that to reach $950 probably by tomorrow, once we've seen how those peace talks go, and then we should start seeing it go down. And then in terms of Brent crude oil, we can see that Brent crude remains relatively on that $75 per barrel for trade volumes, owing to those uncertainties around how the Russia-Ukraine conflict will be resolved and how the Middle East, the Gaza situation, and the ceasefire they hold in the short to medium term. And then coming into the currencies, we can see that we've remained relatively strong against the euro and also against the Japanese yen, but losing a bit of ground against the American dollar on the background of the Russia-Ukraine conflict and that increasing 10-year bond yield within the U.S. market. Thank you, Lungaden.
For your insight and that analysis, always appreciated. And that's it for our second episode of Market View this week. Thank you for tuning in. If you've just joined us, you can still watch this episode on our YouTube page. It's 28 minutes after 2. We've come to the end of our program. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.